Coming up on the official Celtic FC podcast, Paul Cuddihy speaks to James Forrest about the games, the goals and the special moments that have made up the last 15 years and the 26 trophies he's won to become the most decorated Celtic player of all time.
As I said, it's a great achievement, and it just shows how successful the club's been over my time since I've been here.
James, thanks for joining us on the official Celtic FC podcast. The dust has kind of settled on Cuddihy's winning the league and obviously you becoming the most decorated Celt. Has it begun to sink in, just the enormity of the personal achievement?
No, I think after the game, felt as though got a wee bit emotional in that as well. Normally I can hide that quite well, but I think it was just everything that kind of you win the league again, and everyone was talking about that as well. So it just kind of got to me a wee bit. But as I said, it's a great achievement, and it just shows how successful the club's been over my time since I've been here.
I mean, at what stage were you, whether it was this season or when did you first become aware that you were obviously drawing level with Bobby Lennox and the chance to go out on front and have this accolade as the most successful Celtic player of all time?
I think maybe in the last year, when you're talking to press or you're talking to people within in the club, they then start making you aware of it. But to be honest, I think it's obviously a team game. I've been here through the youth, and obviously as a nice achievement, it's great to have. But at the same time, it's all about the players, the staff, the fans, your family. Every day, all the players that you've worked with throughout the years I've been in the first team. So obviously it is nice to say that you are up there and won so many trophies, but as I said, it's all done how compact the full club is throughout my time here.
I mean, anybody that speaks about you, any teammates or even managers, they always talk about how humble you are, and I think you could even see it outside Celtic Park on Saturday night when the managers try to push you front and centre, and you can tell that that's just not really you're more comfortable just being part of the team rather than the limelight really being on you.
Yeah, I think maybe more when it comes to doing interviews and talking and stuff like that as well. I think I like being around the boys, the staff, and when you're playing games, you're playing in the stadium, the amount of big games I've played in, so many games for the club, that's what you like. And then sometimes maybe just when you get brought up, some people like doing the interviews and like doing that sort of stuff, but I've always tried to keep that to a minimum, to be honest.
Right. I was wondering that actually, that sometimes you have a good game and you're man of the match, or you've scored a couple of goals or a hat-trick, and you're obviously pleased and we've won the game, and there's maybe a wee part of you going, oh no, I'm going to have to do an interview after this game.
I actually don't mind doing them. Sometimes I think the amount of games you play at Celtic and that as well, I just feel as though you can easily get talked up, or it's the same the other way. If you have one bad game, it doesn't mean you're a bad player, but at the same time that you have one good game, you need to really be consistent at Celtic, and I think that's one thing. Sometimes I don't think I've had too many players here that has ever does get carried away. I think because the staff and players and obviously the fans will bring you right back down to earth if you do. So I think that's just maybe been a part of it over the years as well.
Because I always think, like yourself and Callum having been here for so long now, and I always have that famous quote from Tommy Burns when he was asked what was his biggest achievement, and he said, staying at Celtic for so long, because if you're not a good player, you don't stay at this club because of those standards and stuff, and you've got all these accolades, all these trophies, but the fact that you've been here for so many years probably tells you as much as anything about the standard you've had to be at for consistently.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. I think I've said that before as well, where even my position as well, the club throughout every year I've been in the first team, they've always signed a winger, they've always signed attackers, and I think that's what the club's all about. It's about attacking football, pleasing the fans and winning trophies in a certain style of play as well. But I think that keeps you on your toes as well. Maybe some people could say, oh, you're comfortable staying at Celtic, but I feel as though it's the opposite. I feel as though because you're winning trophies, you're going for the league titles, every cup. There's pressure on you every game. I think it's, I think you said you see all the names right up there that have been here for so long, played so many games. I think you've got that kind of consistent and that hunger to keep going.
It's funny when you're talking about, saying about being a winger, and we're always signing wingers. And again, other people have said for you to have achieved what you've done playing as a winger, and I'm not sure if fans quite realise how difficult that position is. Obviously, the onus is on you as an attacker. You're closest to the fans, so you hear all the praise and hear all the criticism. And, every time you beat a player, you're the best player in the world. Every time you don't, everybody's on your back. And that in itself brings extra pressure because people are looking at you to be the creative player in the team. Yeah,
but I think that's what it is at Celtic. That's what you've just had to deal with throughout the full time. And even like when you're coming through the youth, like you have different youth coaches, and you are expected to be to be a threat and to help the team out in that way with assists, or goals, or be creative. And as I said, I think it's good when the club signed wingers throughout the years and that as well, because it gives you competition, and like wingers that have came, you can take bits from their game and that as well. So I always think like the competition for places has definitely helped me kick on throughout my career here.
I mean, and obviously you're still a winger, but do you feel that have you noticed the way your game changes, obviously as you get older, in terms of the experience and what you learn over the years, of how your game's maybe changed from when you first burst onto the scene as this young guy straight out of the academy?
Yeah, I feel as though when you do think about it, when you maybe come through when you're younger, maybe I think that's sometimes why managers maybe like younger players, because you maybe feel kind of fearless, you go into games not thinking about it, thinking much about the game, or maybe how big some of the games are. You just go in and you just want to play how you kind of know. Maybe when you get older and you realise how big a club it is, how much it means to everyone as well, and you've got that kind of pressure side of it as well.
I mean, you mentioned there about you get quite emotional at Tannadice. Did that take you by surprise then? Given the fact you're obviously used to winning trophies and you've been in the limelight before, but the fact of the emotion of that personal achievement of becoming the most successful Celtic player of all time?
No, I think there's been so many times that we've either won a cup or we've won a league, and we've maybe got a game a couple of days later, and sometimes you don't get the chance to. Obviously, every time you win something in this club, it's unbelievable. But then sometimes it just makes you how good the feeling is. You see your family and everything, how buzzing it makes them as well. I think you just want more, and I think it's been like that. And maybe for me, about 16 months ago, when you start getting a bit older and you're not sure, I feel like if you're in and out the squad, you don't know if you're going to be here. And I think maybe since I've got older, I'm just cherishing every day that I'm still here.
I mean, obviously it's a great personal achievement, and you're rightly proud of it. But I just always, it must be. I can't even begin to imagine what it must be like for your parents to have, because there must be a part of them that will remember back to all the times they're having to take you when you're a wee guy here, there and everywhere, and what they've put into it. And I'm guessing that everything you achieve is as much for them as it is for you.
Oh no, definitely. I think what they've done for me, my brothers and sisters and that as well, they've done so much for all of us, and none of us would have been able to do what we've done without them. Obviously, the hours that they've took us to training and games, going everywhere, and that's it's not always the ups as well as you get downs and that as well. So that they've been through so much. So yeah, I think massive part is to them, for what they've done as well.
And I suppose, because I always think it's, as I said to you earlier on, it's people always talk about how humble you are, and I'm guessing a lot of that comes from your parents, that they've given you that, maybe never get ahead of yourself, but at the same time they must have given you this incredible work ethic, because you need to work really hard to get to the stage you've been at as well. And again, that must be something that you really appreciate, everything that they've done in terms of giving you the right qualities, I suppose, to be a success as a footballer.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'd done an interview after the game at the weekend, and I said they were talking about me and Cal coming through the youth, right up there with trophies, and I I think it's really good for the academy, and I said as well, like, me and him are pretty similar as like guys off the park as well, and our families are pretty like similar as well. So like, I think like I definitely, for me, like what they've done, like you maybe don't realise it when you're younger, like the effort that they're putting in, like they're working all the time, and they're still managing to take you to training like 4 times a week, games at the weekend, like they're always there, like they're doing everything. So I think when you realise that when you get older, like how much effort and how much it must have been a struggle at times for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Callum there. It's incredible to think the two of you, and most of the success has gone, you know, as teammates, you're just a wee bit ahead of him, so you're ahead of him in terms of the medal count. But between the two of you, that's 50 winners' medals. You mentioned it's a success story for the youth academy. I mean, that's just incredible.
No, it's unbelievable. And then obviously Cal's flying just now as well. He's a couple of years younger, and it's good. Like I've known him since we were really young, and no, I think that's good. As I said, for the academy, for the coaches, for youth academy, like for first team as well, because it's hard to like bridge that gap for like youth team to first team as well. So I think having two that's been like so similar along the way as well, I think that's it's great for everyone at the club, and I think it shows that the young boys here as well that players can come through and do really well here and be successful at Celtic.
Yeah, because I mean, I think the other night the Celtic B team were playing in the Glasgow Cup there. Unfortunately, we lost it in the penalty shootout, but I know you won the Glasgow Cup, you scored in the final as well. And I just sometimes think maybe some of the young boys coming through, just, you know, that's part of your journey as well. Along the way, you get into the habit of winning, you get in the habit of playing big games at whatever stage, because that's all part and parcel. You mentioned already the pressure of being here and having to win. That's part of what the academy teaches you, I suppose.
Aye, and obviously when you're under 13s, 14s, 15s, it's a bit of style of way of winning here as well. Like I think even like when we sign first team players, like they realise when they come here, like sometimes like after a victory, like maybe want to celebrate it and stuff like that as well. But here it's just like it's the next one, and just need to, like a draw can be a disaster, and obviously if you get beat as well, it's very similar. So the club's just like it's unbelievable like in the recent years, and I think the way it's run, it'll just keep going on like that.
Now you just surpassed Bobby Lennox's record. He had the 25 medals, you're now on 26. And I was thinking, there must be something in that Ayrshire water. So he's the Saltcoats boy, you're the Prestwick boy, the two most successful Celtic players in our history. I don't know if it's something in that area of the world.
No, it's obviously really good. Like I've met him a few times, met his family, and the word humble comes in as well. And I think everyone at Celtic, like even ex-players, players that you've played with, like players that you've not managed to play with, like every time you meet an ex-Celtic player, like they want the next like generation or the next ones to do really well. And as obviously I'm getting older than that as well, and it's the same. You're wanting, like Cal's a couple younger, you want him to go on and do it, you want younger ones to come through and do it as well. I just think it's just part of the kind of culture here. Like it's just great for the club, like having kind of players like that here.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like you're one of the elder statesmen now? So you and Callum are you know, the older players, and you see some of these young players come through. Do you ever think, I'm getting old here, because these boys are just teenagers, they're barely out of school and they're pushing, or does it just kind of remind you, I was in their position one day and look where I am now?
No, I actually think it's good, because you're pushing yourself every day. You're training with. We have got a young squad, but I think that is good that even that had like a long-term injury, I got a bad one in the cup final, and then you come back and you're having to get back fit, but then you're having to get back up to the speed of training and working hard here. So you enjoy trying to get back to that level. And even in the international break, I trained with the B team. There was like boys like 16, 17 that you're training with, but I think that's maybe good for them. I was come down and train with them, and it was good for me as well to see like the kind of players coming through and what we've got here as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that, and that must have been brilliant for them. You know, if they're going to training and they're training alongside you, just as a teammate for that day.
Aye, and it was obviously like kind of B team players, like some of the younger players that come up and train the first team, but that there was actually like maybe like under 18 players as well. So no, I think that's part of it as well. Which I can remember when I was younger, and if you trained with like first team players, you went up and trained with the first team, like you wanted more of it. It was a good feeling to see like kind of what the first team like guys done, and hopefully like I kind of done that with them as well.
Does it ever, every now and again, particularly when you reach these milestones, and then they always show the first game, the first goal, you score in your debut. Does it ever make you laugh when you see pictures, because you're just such a young guy at that point, and then Neil Lennon gives you your debut, and in the blink of an eye you've scored your first goal? And
I know it's crazy, like when you think like how quick it's went, but there's been so many highs. Like when people try and say like, oh, pick out one or two, and it's so hard because if you look back, you go through every season, there's been so many highs like every season, and no, I think when you look back, you just mentioned the debut, you see all the players around, like how buzzing they were, and obviously like Lennon manager, and like family and that as well, when like scoring your debut for Celtic, like coming through the academy, it's unbelievable. So no, as I said, there's been so many highs, and hopefully I've still got a few more to come.
Yeah, because funny, when I was thinking about what to ask you, and obviously you've won the 26 trophies, and at first I was going to say, what's been your favourite one? But then I thought, I don't know if that's a question that you can answer, because I'm guessing every single one is your favourite, or the next one that you hopefully win in a few weeks' time will then become your favourite because it is the most recent one.
Yeah, I think that's always been the case, and I've kind of said that before as well, that where I think it is good hearing like after games or after seasons, and you hear kind of stats or like accolades, and you hear different kind of things that you've done. I think that is good, but maybe once I finish and you actually like take it all in more, I think when you're here, you just get sucked into like just even after the weekend, you have a couple of days off, then we're right back in. We've got another big game on Sunday as well, so it's just the way it is. You just want to keep moving, and I think that's good as well. That if you maybe look back at like what you've done, you can kind of lose focus on the next ones, and I don't think anyone at the club's ever been like that. Like definitely since I've been involved. Yeah,
because when I was taking a note, obviously just the kind of the stats. So it's 523 appearances. So again, it's very few players make that many appearances. 108 goals, 109 assists. So I think it's only you, Jimmy Johnson and Henrik Larsson that have scored over a century of goals and a century of assists. So even just saying that is incredible. And I always say to people, I think in like 20 years' time, I'm going to be saying to my grandchildren, I saw James Forrest playing, because they'll just see all the stats and the accolades. But I was speaking to Alistair Johnson recently, and he said, well, in 20 years' time, I'm going to be able to say I was playing alongside you. And again, going back to your humility, I know you'll just like say, right, well, that's fine, but I just want to play. But those are nice things, for your teammates and friends to be able to say.
No, definitely, and I think, as you said as well, I've had so many good teammates over the years that have been involved in so many different squads, and you do make great friendships, because I think as well, you're with each other every day. Everyone like makes sacrifices and have these families. Like you've got that, you get that bond, especially when you're winning as well. And no, as I said, I think I've like kept in touch with so many players that I've played here and they've left, or like ex-players and that as well. And I think no, it's just great to be involved and playing with so many different players, like throughout different countries and that as well.
I spoke to you after the game at Tannadice on the pitch, and just mentioned the fact that towards the end of the game, the title's won, the party started with the fans, but every time you got the ball, they're desperate for you to score, because obviously they've all become aware of this start of you scoring every season. And you said that you kind of could sense the fact, because often you kind of just, I'm guessing you must be in the zone, but it must have been a weird feeling that you could actually hear them almost try to shout the ball into the net.
Aye, no, it was, I could even feel it was like coming for the players on the park and that as well. I think maybe just with the score line, just the way it was going, and then definitely the last 10 minutes I felt, because sometimes like when you're playing, like you don't block out the noise for the stands, but you're just kind of tuned into the game. But no, I could definitely feel that everyone was egging me on to try and score, and which is great as well. Like obviously I want to try and help the team like score in that as well, and hopefully there's a few more games to end the season and I can do that as well. But no, I definitely held a lot of shouts.
Because I was talking to a couple of friends and we were discussing, what would happen if we get a penalty. I said, would you take the penalty? And then I'm thinking, well, obviously, if Adam Ida's on the park or Arnie Engels, who are the penalty takers, because you've only taken 2 penalties, I think, or scored 2 penalties in your career out of all those games, and it's quite a few years ago. So obviously, there's other players that are there, and I suppose you just want to, if you're going to score, you just want to score whenever and for open play, I suppose.
No, spot on. I think like a few folk have joked when we get a penalty, for me to hit it, but obviously I'd hope to score in normal time, and like I always think as well, like we've still got important games, we've still got the cup final as well, so it's it would have to be in the right moment. Hopefully I can score, because you're going into the cup final, you want like Arnie or Arhads or one of them, if they're going to be the penalty taker in the cup final, you want to make sure that they are like they've had like kind of practice, or that they've maybe had one like before then as well. But hopefully don't need to worry about that.
First chance you've got, well, I suppose first game as champions is at Ibrox at the weekend, and those games, regardless of when they're played and regardless of what's happened, it's so important that we want to win that game, in particular after the last one where we lost at home, and we've got fans back in the stadium as well. We want to go there as champions and put on a performance worthy of champions.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, as you said, like getting the fans in, I think that's really important. I think like both sides as well. I think it just makes the game better, like home and away, when you've got like kind of both sets of fans there, because it is a great occasion for like the players, like the staff, for the fans and that as well. So no, I think all the boys will be looking forward to it, and especially like we can take fans there as well.
And it's good as well, having got the league sewn up. We've still got the cup final at the end of next month. I always think it's such a brilliant day, and Celtic have done so well over so many years in the Scottish Cup final, but it means that there's no chance of the season tailing off at all. We've got more than just the 4 league games, but everybody's got to be on it, because I suppose everybody wants to be playing in that cup final as well. Yeah,
no, definitely, and no, it's spot on, and obviously like we've been there a lot of times in like the last few years as well, and I think that it comes to the manager and the staff as well. Like they don't let boys think they're just going to get like best days or like a child, as you said. Like we have got like a lot of competition for places, and loads of boys are going to want to be involved, and you can't just look at the cup final. We've got 4 games before then, so like the standards in training will still be high, and hopefully we can get like good results in the league as well, like going into the cup final with confidence.
And you've got not a bad scoring record at Hampden as well. I think it's 6 goals that you've scored in previous semi-finals and finals as well. So I kind of always, when I was looking at it, and that idea, so Billy McNeil talked about this fairy tale that Celtic had, and I'm thinking maybe that's when you get that vital goal in the cup final to win the treble, and another milestone passed.
Aye, no, obviously I would take that now that you're saying that, but hopefully as I said, we've got 4 games, and hopefully I can be involved in the 4 games, and I managed to help the team and definitely score before the cup final as well.
And obviously we wanted to chat to you in the back of winning the league, but becoming the most decorated Celtic player of all time. And I love saying that phrase, because I just think, there's nearly 1,000 players that have played for Celtic in 137 years, and like we're privileged to be sitting talking to the guy who's been most successful. But again, I'm guessing that in the fullness of time, you mentioned that you'll be able to look back and everything you've achieved, but the reason you're successful is because that league title's part. You're now on to the next trophy, the next success, because that's what makes great Celtic players.
Yeah, definitely, and I think we've got a real good change room, and I've been involved in like loads of different like characters in the change room as well. But I think we've always had good managers as well, and like the backroom, like the backroom team and staff you see in the building as well. Like everyone, like you talk about being humble and like hard working behind the scenes and that as well. Like we've got loads of good people which helped the players and pushed them on as well. And so I think that's just part of the success. Like I think it's like you feel as though it's like a unit, like we're all in it together, and you can kind of see that with like the amount of trophies we've won in the last few years.
Yeah. Do you think that's one of the reasons why teams, but particularly players, can be successful, is because you never forget that, you know, as a team game with the guys that you're playing alongside, but as you say, behind the scenes there's coaches, there's physios, there's masseurs, there's trainers, there's people that help you when you're up, but there's also people that help you when you're down, that you say, in your road to your recovery after the injury in the cup final. There's probably people behind the scenes that a lot of us aren't aware of, or people out with the club, but have been so important getting you back to the stage you're at now.
Yeah, definitely. I think any player will tell you when you're injured, it's the worst part of football. Like, you're in a different schedule from the players like every day, even though that they'll help you there. But as you said, like physios, like the staff within the club are really good at keeping you going and pushing you through it as well. And yeah, no, I think that does help the players definitely. And I think it just shows like what we've got here.
And you know, we were speaking about Callum earlier on, and he mentioned after the game that, I think, sitting in the dressing room just having a wee chat with you and at Tannadice after winning the league, and almost like kind of having a moment of being able to reflect on the kind of journey you've both been on and how successful you've both been. And he was saying maybe sometimes you don't, whether it takes you by surprise, you're not quite aware of it yourself because you're in that moment, but probably nice for the two of you just to even just have a minute go, I've done all right here.
No, I would, but it's one of the ones, like I think you're just kind of going with the flow, like throughout the year. Like maybe when you're a wee bit older and you do start like hearing the kind of records and stuff and that as well, like it does take you back. But then I think when you're older, you're not enjoying it more. You're just like maybe appreciating it. You've never took it for granted, but you do realise like how big it is, how much everyone does want the team to do well and players to do well. And I think it makes you keep working hard because you know how much it does mean to everyone. And no, as I said, like I think I'm 2 years older than Cal, so we've done this, like, we've won like so much together as well, and I think that's been really good as well.
Well, listen, it is an incredible achievement, the most decorated Celtic player of all time. As I said, I just love saying that phrase, and I think we're all looking forward to hopefully seeing you winning trophy number 27 at the end of May in the Scottish Cup final. Fingers crossed.
I know. I think that would be that's exactly what we want.
Well, listen, thanks for joining us on the official Celtic FC podcast, and thanks for watching or listening wherever you are in the world. And remember, let's keep our fingers crossed for trophy number 27 for James. Hail, hail.